One of the fascinating things about people is that we spend all our life looking for jobs, working hard, building up businesses, all in hopes to make more money. And yet most of us don't really understand, where does money come from? Why does this piece of paper is money in the first place and not something else? Most importantly, it's a piece of paper with some pictures and numbers, which means someone out there is printing all of this money. It's certainly not growing on trees or falling from the sky. Before you click away because you think you know the answer, let me clarify that it's not the government. In fact, government is borrowing money exactly like you, and trust me, it's in a much bigger debt than you could possibly imagine. It sounds strange because if it's not the government who prints the money, then who has the power to do that? Well, that's exactly what you will find out in this video. As always, government needs to build bridges, schools and hospitals in order to sustain the country, but all of that requires money. In the past, it was simple. Gold and silver were used as money, so you either earn it or borrow it from someone else as a loan. But in the modern world, it works in a different way. When the government needs money, it borrows it from the Federal Reserve as a loan with interest on it. And where does the Federal Reserve take that money? It creates it out of ink and paper. Then the government uses that money to build schools, hospitals and bridges, and that's how money gets into the circulation. The people who receive the money from the government deposit them in the bank, and then the bank lends that money to someone else, and that's how it basically spreads all around the world. But that's only how a small fraction of money is created, because around 95% of money are nothing but digits in the computers that are created by the banks. When you deposit your money into the bank doesn't simply keeps your money in the safe, but rather lends it to someone else at a higher interest, because that's how banks make money. But then why does your bank account says that your money is still there in the bank and you can take it out anytime you want? Because banks are allowed to lend 90% of your deposited money and keep only 10% in case you want some of your money back. At the same time, it keeps your account as if your money is still there. Let's say you deposit $100 in the bank. Bank will lend $90 out of it, but at the same time, it will create another $90 to show you that your $100 are still there in the bank. Then those $90 that was lent in the first place will end up in another bank, and they will keep $10 and it will lend the rest, creating even more money, and so on and so forth, until that $100 that was created in the first place will turn into $1,000, if not more than that. That's how most of our money is created. That's why 95% of our money don't exist physically. And the strangest part of this system is that the money that was printed out in the first place was given as a loan to the banks and the government. In other words, the government or the banks have to pay back more money than the amount of money that exists in the system, which means that that simply can never be paid back. Let's say, for example, there isn't any money in the system yet. You go out there and ask the Federal Reserve to loan you $10. It says sure, but you must pay back with 10% interest, which means you have to pay back $11. Now the question is, where will you get the extra $1 if only $10 were created in the first place? The answer is nowhere. In short, we use these pieces of papers as money because we trust the system. But in reality, it's not really backed by anything. So invest your money in real assets such as stocks, gold, real estate, and so on. And now it's your turn. What do you think? Do you think this system will collapse anytime soon, or that's just a conspiracy? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, hit the like button if you have enjoyed this video, and if you don't want to miss the next video, then hit the subscribe button and the bell besides it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.